Hello friends, today we're going to do something quite different. I have never done anything like this before. I'm basically going to take you along as I change the water in both of my tanks and clean them up a little bit because they could use a little bit of cleaning. I don't know if you can tell from where you are, but they're just a little bit grimy, just a little. I've been waiting perhaps a little too long, but also, and the poop in this one just seems to build up so quickly. I feel like I clean it and then 2 days later it's trashed again. So anyway, I need to do that. I'm also gonna thin out the plates a little bit. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to create a relatively uncut, unaltered video. Just kind of bring you along with me. I'll point out the things that I use. I'll even give you little tips. I'll even give you some tips should that happen to come up. So I thought that we could change our tank's water together and clean it up a little bit. I was thinking that it might be nice to have a video where I'm just kind of sitting and doing this and I can keep you company while you do the same. Now you may have more tanks than me, so your process might take a little while longer, so you could put me on repeat or you could also play some of the other videos I have on my channel. You are welcome to do whatever. But considering that this will take me possibly an hour or so, we'll see. I try not to make it last any longer than it has to, even though I do want to take my time and do a good job so that they feel and look clean. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into it. I need to get out all of my things. I haven't gotten out everything, but I do have some stuff set aside here. So I want to start off with the towels. Very important. Sometimes you gaslight yourself into thinking that you are not gonna need these, but trust me, you will. And you may not use all of them. Sometimes I don't, but it's better to have them on hand for when you spill water, because it's gonna happen. I mean, there's going to be at least some water on the floor and on my desk during this process. It's a given, it always happens. So have your towels on hand. I like to keep them here. That way I don't have to run out of my room and go get them from the bathroom linen closet if I have to. We also have the siphon. Again, very important. We also have the siphon, again, very important. I will leave you a link to the one that I use, although I have started to desire one with a slightly smaller siphon end. I would like one that is ever so slightly smaller because of the corners in this tank. I'm having a hard time getting around on the sides with this thing. I'm not quite sure how to fix that quite yet. I think I just need to try to find a smaller one. But overall, it's really, really good. I like this brand. It's very inexpensive and I get it on Amazon. So we have the siphon, curl it up, set it right there. Then we have what I call my soup bucket. Not S-O-U-P, S-O-O-P. Also, he's flaring at the siphon. He's flaring at it. Also, I apologize if at any point my head is cut off in this video. I tried to put my camera at a point where you can see everything at all times, but we'll see how that actually goes. So this is my soup bucket. It's very big, and I never fill it all the way, but the nice thing about this is that my mom does not have to tell me to absolutely scald and scrub down her nice kitchen pots after I've filled it with fish poo water. So this is my fish soup bucket. Soup, S-O-O-P, is my word for fish crap water, essentially. I call it soup, so this is my poop soup bucket. I really like it. It's been used, as you can tell, but I like it because I don't have to clean it. Really, all I do if I really want to clean it is I just rinse it out a little bit, but I don't have to scrub it with soap and water and pray that every little germ is killed so that nobody in the house gets sick. You feel me? Get you one of those if you don't have them. I stole it from my dad. He never uses it. Hopefully he won't ever have to. So that's my soup bucket. Now we get into my middle drawer here. This is where I keep a bunch of my tools, like my escaping tweezers, My scissors, I use these for cutting off dead pieces of, well, dead leaves, dead plant leaves. I also need my Seachem Prime. I will use this when adding new water to the tank. It's getting a little bit low, but I have enough to last me a while. I don't use much of that. I also have my aquarium co-op Easy Green. I put this in that tank. Since the substrate is capped, this is what feeds all of my floaters, and it also feeds my Bucephalandra, because those are not root feeders. They feed from the water column. And probably my most important tool is this, my glass cleaner, magnetic glass cleaner. I got this a couple years ago in with a lot of fish stuff that I bought, $25 off of Facebook Marketplace, so I don't know. It might have cost me $1. Came in with a lot of stuff. And last but not least, my most recent addition to the cleaning crew, a toothbrush that my dad got for me at Walmart, because sometimes you just want to do a little bit of detailing, and oh my word, does this thing work. It works. And it's really nice. Sometimes I'll just dip it in like that and just scrub it up here on the edge, because you will get, I think it's called water spots, water stains. I think it's calcium buildup. I think that's what it is. Anyway, you'll get that if you don't scrub or wipe it down after a while, so you want to make sure you do that every now and then. And that's what I like for this. Also, sometimes the rocks need a little bit of cleaning up, and this works perfectly. The bristles are not, they're not on the super soft side, but they're not all super stiff either. I think this was $1, so if you need a good little detailing brush, toothbrush, that's where it's at. Okay, that's everything. Have it all laid out. Now I just need a little bit of music to get me going. And I will also move this to the floor here. If you have any plants or anything next to your tank, you always want to move it just so you have full range of motion as you are changing the water in your tank. I don't like to have things in the way, and I also don't like there to be a risk of me hitting things. So we will tuck that plant away right there so I can get around to this side. Speaking of which, there is an entire minefield. Oh my word. Is that poop? This is one of the most interesting parts of being a fish keeper, is finding one of these. And I can't get back in there with just my siphon because it's too big. Well, okay, I just keep going. All right, let's start cleaning. I'm gonna start with this one because that one has some blue-green algae. I'm gonna have to spend a little bit more time detailing and cleaning. So basically with this, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scrub down the glass just a little bit. Oh, and tip, because I'm a little bit mad at myself, I'm gonna be honest. When you use these, make sure that there is nothing, no little rock that got from the substrate, no little piece of sand, nothing little grainy or scritchy. I have to go clean this off because it looks like there's some scritchy stuff in there. But basically what happened is my brand new tank, I scratched it. I did. There are a couple fresh little scratches about that long on the side of this tank. I'm so mad. Because what I was doing is I was cleaning the tank. This fell. Sometimes if you get a little bit too rigorous with this can become detached for some reason. I don't know why it happens. And then it falls to the bottom. And sometimes as a result of that, you can get little granules of the substrate here, and it doesn't come out if you're not super careful and you don't just make sure every little bit is out. It'll get stuck in there. And then what happens is you go back to cleaning, clean, and it's there and it scratches the glass in your tank, so I'm not happy about that, but I'm gonna try to make sure that doesn't happen again. So I'm gonna go really check this and make sure there's nothing before I start, and then we'll get started on cleaning. Okay, I'm back, and I think that it's clean, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little bit nervous after that happened, and I'm really hoping I got it super clean. Where did I put it? Oh, here it is. I'm hoping it's totally clear of everything. I was really careful, so it should be fine, shouldn't scrape up anything. So basically, I'm just going to move the soup bucket, and I'm just gonna clean the sides. I'd be interested to know how you start cleaning your tank. I always start with the glass because I know that I will be removing the water. So I like to scrub the algae or anything off of the sides before I remove the water, because then I know I'm removing whatever I have knocked off of the wall. I'm seeing a couple of dead leaves that I'll need to remove. One thing I did do when I scaped this tank that has really helped is I made sure there was space in between every single piece of hardscape that I placed. I made sure that I would have space for this to go in between the wall and the hardscape, so that basically I wouldn't be hindered from reaching any part of the wall, if that makes sense. So none of this wood, when I'm getting down in there at the bottom of the glass here, none of the wood, I don't have to move any of it, and it doesn't really budge any of it. See, so I can get down in here and it's just perfectly fine. That was a really helpful thing that I did. So that's something you can keep in mind when you are scaping your tank. Edwin does not like this. It's okay, buddy. He's very territorial. I've noticed that with him. All right, this wall is done. He's very territorial. He doesn't necessarily want to eat his tank mates. He's just mad that they exist, you know? It's kind of odd, but that's Edwin. Gotta get the back here. The only part of the glass that I can't reach is where my sponge filter is, but it doesn't seem like I have a ton of algae or anything growing on the glass. So it's not a huge deal. If I noticed that it was getting especially dirty back there, I would just move it out of the way and then clean it, but it seems like it's all right. All right, we got the two walls done. I'm gonna do the side here and then the front, and then I will start siphoning. I think I got a snail in there. Oh no. I did. I crushed him. Oops. That happens sometimes. But I just have to rinse it off so that it doesn't scratch the glass. All right, I think we're good. Oh, come on. Our circuit breaker is being super weird and it's tripping my room. This is the 4th time it's happened within the last 30 minutes, so this may happen a few times as I'm filming, so I'm gonna have to go fix it again. Okay, let's resume cleaning. I gotta get the walls done real quick. I still can't believe that happened. There's this two big obvious scratches on this wall. Thankfully it's not the front wall. I mean, it could have ended up being the front wall and that would have been even more obvious, but it still makes me kind of sad that that happened. Okay. One more. I definitely need to thin out these floaters. They are just thick up here. Got a little bit wet. It's okay. Go on, bud. Sometimes you also need to just clean the outside with a little bit of glass cleaner. A lot of people forget to do that. They clean the inside but not the actual outside where you're touching the glass sometimes. And that makes a big difference with how clean the tank will feel. Okay, so we're done. This will be used for Walter's tank, but Edwin's tank glass is done. So now we're going to change out, the water. Now, why do I do the water and not trim the leaves, pull out the dead parts yet? That is because this water is so deep, it would be more of a hassle, and I did end up getting my hands just wet trying to get down in there. Even though I'm using this, it's still not quite long enough. So whenever I siphon, it removes quite a bit of the water, and then I can get in there a whole lot easier before I fill the water back up. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pull up the soup bucket right there to catch the water, and then I'm just going to get in here and siphon as best I can. There might be some areas that I can't get. I'm tempted to just pull this off and go in with this. The only risk would be that I could potentially suck up some of my substrate, but there is so much poop right in this corner, it's wild. All right, let's start siphoning. Buddy, you gotta move. This is the only part I need to get to. You're in the way, move. All right, there we go. Come on, buds. Okay, let's get all that mess removed. It will disrupt the substrate a little bit, but I'll get that straightened back up once I'm done. Trying to disturb the waste by getting the siphon down in there. Oh, that worked. Sometimes if you just go back and forth, look at all that stuff going up the siphon. There's so much. See if I can get around the side over here. Come on. Oh, I can. What do you know? Well, that's loads better. Definitely better. Now, sometimes if you want to keep the suction going, but you want to move the siphon to a different part of the tank without losing water, you can stick your finger over the edge here. As long as you keep it down, now I can move the siphon to the back part over here, and then I take my finger off, start siphoning again. I can get the back area, put my hand over the siphon again, so I need to move back here so I can actually see what I'm dealing with. Yep, looks like there's some more stuff back here. Get it. Pretty much it. I don't really think there's anything else. I still feel like there's some waste here that really needs to get removed, but it doesn't seem like it really wants to come up, which is kind of odd. Come on. Well, I think that's about as good as it's gonna get. It looks way better anyway. So, what I'm gonna do is put my finger over the edge here, pull the siphon up. Actually, no, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna let it go down there. And this is what I do to keep the water release from disturbing the substrate. I put my hand over it real quick, and then I tip it up. And then I let the rest of the water run down into here and out into the soup bucket, like so. Now it's done, so we twist it and we let it rest here for a minute. So, at this point, I am going to trim the plants and get them all looking nice. I'll move the soup bucket over here for a minute and pick this up. I'm not really sure how, but some floating plants got out. All right. Now it's time to trim the plants and pull out all of the dead and dying pieces. I also want to flatten out the substrate. I just use this and I go back and forth like this, and it just kind of knocks everything back sort of flat. Seems to work the best. I don't have one of those little escaping spatula looking things, that people use to straighten. I just use this and it seems to work alright, so I just use that. Gonna knock off some of the substrate landed on the leaves, so I just have to fix that. And sometimes I knock some of the plants out, so I have to relodge those back. The Bucephalandra is actually looking really good. My only frustration is the fact that some of the pieces still are not anchored to the rocks, so they come popping out sometimes, and that annoys me, but eventually they will get secured in there and then I won't have to deal with it. It's just for a short time. That's what I keep telling myself. Gotta fix it up a little bit. There's still some more sand. It's a little uneven. Okay, work on this side here. That's straight. Something up with this plant. Oh, there's bits that kind of melted off. Just have to pull it out basically, since I already siphoned everything. Edwin, I'm not feeding you. Move. This is not food. He thinks everything's food. So this dead leaf here. Alright. It's looking good. There's a couple dead leaves back here I need to remove though. Some photos with it. It's alright, I have to remove some of them anyway. Let's see. What is going on with this one? Is it? Oh. Need my scissors. Cut the stalks of one of the little leaves. This is very awkward sometimes. Because you have to really get in there, and sometimes there's just no way to do it without hunching over. Here we go. Look at that. It was melting, but some of the plant was still alive, so it wasn't coming out all the way. Come on. There we go. Alright. There's one of my Nerite snails. I love Nerites so much. They are honestly my favorite snail. Alright. Now I'm checking to make sure. There's been a couple other plants that were dislodged. I gotta fix those. Get back in there, buddy. Edwin, leave it alone. I think he's the reason they're flying out. Pretty sure he is the culprit. I think maybe he's going after the snail and maybe the shrimp. I'm honestly not even sure if there are any shrimp left, but I think they might be in hiding maybe. I'm kind of hoping they are. Because I hate to think he just murdered all of them. I have this plant right here. I really like it. It doesn't seem to be doing too well though. The ones on this piece of wood are doing great, but some of them just fell off, and so I thought, oh, I'll just plant them throughout the tank. But I don't know how much they like it. We'll see. They came off anyway, so I probably would have had to just get rid of them. So they're kind of like the experimental plants, if you will. Just get in there. Go on. Go. Alright, that's good enough. Okay. Now I have to check the houseplant cuttings as well, because sometimes you get those yellow leaves like this, and you want to pluck those off too. There's one down in the water. Doesn't look very happy. Yeah, it's not happy either. Some floating plants some of them are dead. Okay, looks pretty good. I think I have all the dead leaves cut off, but you always just want to kind of go around and check and make sure. Looks great. Okay, so pretty much the snake is done. What I do like to do is dust the top of the lights. They get very, very dusty. It's easy if you have a slightly damp cloth. You just wipe it off, remove that dust. It gets so dusty. Sometimes you have to wipe it a couple of times a week just so it doesn't look gross. When they're black especially. Sometimes I wonder, why are all tank lights black? Why can't we get silver or white? I would love a silver one. I don't understand why they don't give us a silvery color. It doesn't even have to be that shiny silver that tarnishes. Just kind of a nice silvery color. I would love that. I really would. Okay, everything looks good. I'm happy with it, satisfied. Now what I was going to do was, I was going to go ahead and thin out the floating plants. But I think what I'm going to do is fill up the water, because as you can see, some of the floating plants are caught in the house plant cuttings I have up here. They got caught when I was removing the water. So if I put the water back in there, I'll have them all up level so I can see which ones need to be removed. This is one thing I like to do. I like to go over the part that isn't underwater all the time because it removes any water stains. It keeps it nice and crystal clear. I like to go back there and kind of scrub it. It helps. You might also want to dry it as well. So I have a dry side of this washcloth. Just gonna go over it. All right, we are all good. I'm actually gonna remove this and pop this down here. So now I will go grab a pot and fill it up with some nice fresh water, and I'll fill up this tank. This one's almost done. I thought you might like a different view, so I moved you. But I have my first pot of water. I'm gonna have to make a couple trips for this just because these things are heavy and that weight adds up. Now, with this, I eyeball it. I don't know if any of y'all actually measure it, but if you read on the back with the Seachem Prime, it says 1 cap full for each 50 US gallons. This is 7 gallons, so I just add a couple drops. And it seemed to work for me. Seems like it removes the chlorine just fine. So what I do is I pour some in this cap, and then I just pour a couple little drops in there. And then I stir it up with my, I keep wanting to say tongs. These are not tongs, tweezers. Stir it up, stir that soup up. Now for this step, I do use one of the kitchen pots, but that's okay because it's just clean water and dechlorinator. That's all right. I don't get in trouble for that. And now I just pick a spot that doesn't have as many plants. I start pouring the water in. I have to be really careful with this substrate though, because if I pour it too hard and fast, it will disrupt all of this. I'd have a huge mess on my hands, so you don't want that. Basically, you're gonna lift this up. One thing to make sure also that you do before water change day, it may seem like common knowledge, but I have done this before. Don't work out before you, especially your arms, don't work your arms out before you do something like this, before a water change day, because I did that once. I worked out, I did my arms, I lifted weights and whatnot, and then I came and tried to change my water. I was struggling with this pot of water because my arms were so tired. It was awful. I can pour a fairly steady stream of water in here without disrupting anything, but I'm still always careful. Sometimes I'll pause, make sure we're good. All right, we're good. Also, what is it with Bettas? Whenever you're pouring in the stream, they always want to be around the stream. It's kind of funny. I wonder if maybe it's the bubbles. It's just different. Maybe it makes noise. But yeah, see, look, Edwin, he's checking it out. And all Bettas do that. It's so funny. And sometimes they get caught in that little current and it blows them around. They just swim right into the bubbles. I don't know why they do it. It's kind of funny though. All right, this pot's almost empty, and then I'm just going to go get another pot of water. I think I'll need one, maybe two, 1.5, 2 more trips, and then it'll be full. All right. And I'm almost done with Edwin's tank, but then I have to do Walter's tank. I feel like I should be totally done in a minute, and I still have a whole tank left. It's kind of funny though, because I only have 2 tanks, and I know some people who have way more. And I was thinking to myself the other day, how do they do it? I was talking to my friend, and she has 6 tanks. I think she has 6 tanks. But she told me that she only does a couple a day. She'll take it a day at a time. I don't know why I was thinking she did it all in a day. Maybe there are people that do it all in a day. Maybe they have a day to spare. But it's not even necessarily the day or the time that it takes. It's the strength. It's the sheer strength you need to lift these pots of water again and again and again. And the patience it takes while you keep that steady stream going into the tank. Oh my goodness. I cannot imagine doing more than 2 tanks. I understand multiple tank syndrome. I know it's a thing because I definitely have friends that have more than 2 tanks. However, I feel like that would wear me out. I don't think I could do it. It just keeps on hitting those floating plants. Just pushing them down under the water. Move aside. Get out of the way. Go. Stay out. Stay away. Edwin! You in the way, buds. Oh my word, they just come back. I need to keep my hands in there just to keep the floating plants away. That kind of works, actually. Come on. I think I only need this one pot left. I don't need to make another trip. I think that's enough water. Well, that's a relief. I think that one's gone. We'll take that out. Woo! And I still have to thin out the floating plants in this tank too. If you're watching this video while you also clean your tank, let me know where in the process you are right now. Have you finished the tank yet? Because, oh my goodness. All right, I'm gonna grab a paper towel because what I like to do is hold a paper towel while I scoop the plants out and put them in there and then throw it away. I forgot to get a paper towel before I started. Okay. Now I just pick out the plants. I pick out the dying ones, but also I unfortunately have to throw away some of the better looking ones too, just because there are so many. And if you were here and you lived close by, I'd give you some. It makes me sad to throw away perfectly good plants, but sometimes it's not worth the hassle of trying to post them online, get someone here to pick them up, all that. Overall, they seem to be doing okay. I got some salvinia. I got some, what What else do I have? I got them all from the same woman, and she's so awesome. Oh no, this was the plant that had Edwin's bubble nest. Oh, I always feel bad. I mean, I know it's kind of inevitable when you're changing the water, but when your Betta's working on a bubble nest and then you just destroy it, I feel bad. He'll build it back though, he enjoys it. But anyway, so I got some, I got some red root floaters. I think that's what they're called. And I also got some salvinia, and I got some water lettuce. And the interesting thing is, everything seems to be doing well except for that water lettuce. It just, it just was not doing well. It seemed very unhappy. And it's like the leaves just were melting, but all the other ones are doing so well. And I'll tell you, my favorite really is the salvinia. I just love it so much. It is such a good plant. Not only is it visually stunning, very interesting to look at, it's also super hardy. So that's a good plant, a good floating plant. I think even for beginners. But the thing you want to make sure with floating plants, you have to make sure you don't have a lid. For the most part, floating plants do not do well with lids. They don't like wet leaves. And when you have a lid, that condensation, it drips, and then, wet leaves. And when the leaves stay wet, they rot and all that. So basically putting all of the rotten leaves and all the leaves I remove here, and then I just fold it up and throw it away. It makes it easier to toss once I'm done. I really was hoping that the water lettuce would do well. It's just not. I tried it once before. Didn't do well either. I don't understand what happened. Duckweed. What are you doing in this tank? No. I know I'm taking that out. I'm not doing duckweed in my tank again. Lord have mercy. Not doing it. I think it's so cool how hydrophobic salvinia is. You could dunk it underwater, and when you bring it back up, the leaves are just totally dry. Oh, I scared them. Some floaters, they got stuck up under here, so I have to pick them out. I feel like I thinned them out all right. They're still kind of thick, but I don't like to thin them out too much because Edwin likes to make bubble nests, and thicker coverage is best for that because he can just build them wherever he wants, and the roots help the bubbles stay together. All right, I think that looks good. I like it. I think we'll leave it at that, and we'll move on to Walter's tank. Just gotta wipe up all the water. There's quite a bit of water on this. Oh yeah, also, I need to add a little bit of easy green. So I'm trying to estimate, I removed a little bit less than half of the water, so I'd say that's about, how many gallons would you say I added? 2, 3? It's 2 drops per gallon. And so whenever I do a water change, I add it back in there. It's 2 drops per gallon, I'd say. I'll just do 6. 2, 3, 4, 6. And sometimes a drop or 2 extra gets in there, but I don't worry about it too much. Okay, let's move on to Walter's tank. I think this looks really good. I'll give you an overall view of the nice clean tank, don't worry. Once I'm done, I'll give an overview of both tanks so you can see it up close. Okay, so I took a very short break and I emptied out the soup bucket. So now we can get started on Walter's tank. Hey, buddy. So for his, I'm just going to follow the same exact procedure that I did with Edwin's tank. So we'll start by cleaning the glass, and then we'll make sure that nothing needs to be trimmed. I'll scrub off some of this algae because Walter does actually have some blue-green algae at the bottom here that Edwin's tank doesn't have, so I like to scrub that off of the leaves before I siphon out the water. So I'll probably do that next, right after I clean the glass here. Yeah. I have a lot of biofilm in this tank too. I like to have the floating plants, but it seems like they congregate over here and then it stops the water from flowing and now I get biofilm, so might have to remove the floating plants in this tank. I kind of hate to do that, but it doesn't look great. A bunch of scratches on this one too. I wonder if that happened. Oh darn. That must have happened the day I did the other tank too. Alright, so for the walls, I didn't do the back, but I don't really feel the need to do the back. Doesn't really look like it needs anything. I'll grab my handy dandy little toothbrush and scrub it up a little bit. Big old piece of blue-green algae. So yeah, gotta wipe that off. Usually I have water in the bucket whenever I do that, so I can just kind of slosh it off into the bucket. But I do not have that right now. I should probably go ahead and siphon out some of the water though, because it's hard reaching down into the water. I think I'll do that. Oh no. And there's our first spill. But no matter, because I have a towel on hand. Told you it was gonna happen. Alright, buddy. This tank is slightly harder to clean just because all the little nooks and crannies I have. Whenever I rescape it, I would definitely change that. I'd reconfigure things slightly differently than I have them now. But you live and you learn. You learn what you like best in a tank and how best to set it up. I'm also not sure I would keep the tunnel either. It's an interesting little feature and I kind of like it, but it is so hard to get down in there to clean. I really just never do. The same technique I did. Boop. All right. I'm gonna grab the washcloth because even though I cleaned it, for some reason this hair algae, because there's some in the glass here, some still just sticks around and you can see it, so I just go in a little bit and rub it off with this washcloth. I'm not super duper picky. The tank doesn't have to be spotless. Fish tanks really never are. I mean, they're an ecosystem, and especially with water and snails and plants, you can't get too perfectionistic with fish tanks. You can still have a nice tank, I'm not saying you can't. However, some people, including me in the past, want their tanks to just be absolutely pristine. They don't want any algae, just nothing. And it's just not realistic. You really can't achieve that. You can have a nice look, especially with this tank. It's seemed easier to me to be able to achieve that clean look. It looks clean and nice, but you know, if you look closer, I mean, you're gonna see a little bit of snail poo, you're gonna see a little bit of algae, but that's okay. Sometimes you're gonna see some dead plant leaves, but overall, it still looks nice. You just don't get caught up in feeling like your tank has to be perfect, because there's no such thing. There is no such a thing with a natural ecosystem like this. All right, I'll move the soup bucket over here. And let's see. I'm thinking I may need to remove the floating plants in this tank. Walter doesn't build bubble nests either, but it seems like it's become a bit of a hindrance. So what I'm gonna do, actually, I'm gonna work on the blue-green algae. There's still some in there. I can't get it all out, but I'm gonna get more of it out. I have to go in with my toothbrush, I swish it around in the water, and then I go in and I just kind of rub it against the leaves and it catches a bunch of that. It gets in the bottom of tanks, and I always wondered why. From what I hear, blue-green algae only really forms in areas of the tank with the lowest oxygen, so it's usually in the bottom of the tank. Apparently it's a pretty natural occurrence, but it doesn't seem to me like the snails love it. So it's something I have to manually remove because it's just not the prettiest thing to look at. Some over in this corner too. I don't think I cleaned that corner last time. There's some more. Get out. There's a piece just free floating in there. And for some reason also, it doesn't seem to come out very well with the siphon. Like if I knock some pieces loose, oh Lord have mercy, I really scraped that up last time, didn't I? Oh, I'm not happy about that. There's another scrape across there. Phew. There's scrapes all here and down there. Oh my word. I did a number on it the last time. I'm not happy about that. I can't do anything about it, so I choose not to think about it. I'm just gonna not think about it and keep cleaning. Got some more algae. Now I gotta get down here. There's a fair amount on this side. Don't get up. Alright, there we go. That's most of it. Reconfigure the plants a little bit to look better. I honestly wish there was some way I could find a place for Walter to stay for a little bit and so I could fix up his tank, but if I move him, I think I'd just stress him out. But I really would. There are some things I really would love to do with this tank for him differently, so it would just look better. Okay. I guess that's good enough. I don't usually like to do super deep clean. Usually a surface clean is enough, which reminds me of another thing. A lot of people, when they first get into fish keeping, they think they need to deep clean their tank. So they take their betta out and they take all the plants out and all the decor out, and they scrub each one individually before they put it back in there. Not only is that a headache, it can actually be dangerous for your ecosystem, for your betta. Never do that. It's not even necessary. You do not have to do that. All you have to do is really what I'm doing today. Now, if you notice that one rock in particular, and I'll do this sometimes, if you notice one rock in particular has a lot of algae on it, and maybe it kind of bothers you, you can take the rock out and scrub it under running water in a bathroom or something. That's fine. But you never need to pull all of your stuff out to clean it. That is never ever necessary. I think, I really hate to do it, but I think I need to remove most of the floating plants that I put in Walter's tank. It's blocking the flow, and it's causing a lot of film to build up, and I don't really like that. So I'm gonna go grab another paper towel and do that real quick, and then we will fill it up, and I think I'll be done after that. Changed up the angle for you, so it's a little bit different. Just gonna clear out most of the floating plants. I do like how it looks, and you know, I had so many from Edwin's tank, so I could spare a bunch. However, it's just really weird. It's like they just gravitate towards where the filter is, and then it stops the water from flowing, so there's no surface. Oh, what's the word? Not tension. It doesn't disrupt the surface, basically. So then I get biofilm, and I don't like that. But I'll tell you what I don't like even more. Hair. That is one thing. If you have pets, if you have pets and you have lidless tanks, a lot of times you're gonna get hair in your tank, and I don't like it at all. But it happens from time to time, and it's especially bad if you're filming too, and you don't realize, or you don't check it beforehand, and then there's hair on your tank, and it looks in the video, and it looks so gross. I think that's one of my main grievances. I don't have very many with fish keeping. It's for the most part, a very relaxing hobby that I enjoy. Okay. I'll leave a couple small ones in there, see what happens. But I think that's good. Alright. Should be able to fill it up now. Take it one pot at a time. Alright, time for the first pot. I'm not sure why, but I don't think it took as long to do Walter's tank as Edwin's. I'm not really sure why. Oh no, water. Shoot. Hold on. Gotta wipe it up. I spilled again. Down the side of my bedside table. Alright. We're good. But anyway, I don't think it took as long to do Walter's tank. Honestly, I almost feel like I would or should get some of the same fine gravel that I have in Edwin's tank and just cap Walter's, because I have planted substrate, but it just seems so dark to me, and I love how with Edwin's that cap brightens it up. So So I'm super tempted to do that with Walters, and that's the one thing I could do with him still in there. And it's not super expensive. I think the bag was, what, 5 pounds? I only needed one, and I think it was about $14. So I wonder, should I do that? If you have any opinions on that, I'd be interested to hear what you think. All right, one more pot should be enough. I just have to get it into position. All right. All right, I'm done. That's it. Okay, we're all done, except now we need to clean up. So I'll clean up my stuff, walk you through my cleanup process a little bit. Okay, so in cleaning up, first I focus on the things that I can put up immediately, basically the things that don't need to be emptied into the toilet, like this soup bucket. Things like prime and the fertilizer. So I have a little bit of prime left in the cap, so I put that back in there because I didn't use it. And then I put the lid back on, and I'll usually wipe it down a little bit because sometimes stuff gets wet with the glass cleaner. I just dry it off, I stick it back together, and then that can go up too. Grab my tools, dry them off a little bit. I have to swish that off because it wasn't totally clean. There we go. Dry that off too. Because if you don't dry off toothbrushes, I've found that they tend to mold, which is kind of weird. But that happens. Dry off the tools, and now all that stuff can go up into my drawer. Open the drawer here. The prime, which I put over here. Just kind of throw the tools in there a little bit. Get that put in there. Toothbrush, and then the glass cleaner. And that's that. Then I'm going to basically take the trash that I have, so anything like the paper towels with the plants in them, take that and I'm gonna go throw that away. And then I dry everything up, so any excess water, anything here, I'll dry that up, get that all dry. Dry up the counter here. I'll throw this away, and then I'm gonna go empty this soup bucket. I'm gonna empty the bucket that I used to add water because there's a little bit of water left. I'll rinse that out, then I'll go put that up too. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this outside, fling it around, and then I like to take apart the pieces and then hang them up to dry in the garage. Oops. I'm dripping water. But I hang them up in the garage and then they dry, and I found that the garage is the best place because if I leave the pieces outside, usually they get wet from rain, or they'll get wet from dew in the morning if I forget to take them in. Right now it's raining anyway, so it's best to take it inside. But then after that, that's it. I've put everything up. I'm going to restore my plant to its proper place right here. So I have that fixed up. And I'll even turn the light back on when I'm ready. And then that's pretty much it. After that, I'll clean the glass if I feel like it needs it, but I've already kind of wiped it off, so I think we're good. Kind of buffed it just like that. So I'm gonna take care of those few things, and then I'll show you the result. Friend, we cleaned our tanks. I think my tank looks pretty good. I can't see yours, but I'm sure it turned out very well. There's a stinker right there. Looks really good. I was finally able to clean out that corner right there. A little view of the whole thing. And then over here, Walter. His tank is looking pretty nice. Pretty vibrant and green. Might even have to trim those plants back soon. I removed most of the floating plants, but now the flow's back, so honestly, I'll probably just keep it that way. Doesn't seem like he's really building any bubble nests either, so he doesn't really need anything up there to hold the bubbles together like Edwin does. Do you like it? Do you feel clean or no, buddy? He's contributing, as you can see. He's contributing to the dirty tank, a dirty tank once more. Oh my goodness, buddy. Looks pretty good though. There's a little bit of algae still in there. You can see it on the rocks, but it looks good overall and I'm happy with it. So here's to a clean tank for a few hours before, you know, all the snails get going again and the fish. It certainly feels that way. Well, I hope you enjoyed cleaning your tank with me, or maybe you just sat and watched this. And if you just sat and watched this, thank you for your support. There's Edwin over there. Thank you for joining me for this video. I hope it helped you or provided some entertainment, or maybe kept you company while you were cleaning your Betta's tank. What are you doing? Oh my goodness, he thinks he's so big. What the? The tanks are clean and beautiful, and it was fun to do this knowing that someone somewhere in the world is going to join me. What in the world are you doing? What's he doing? Look at him. What's he doing? Oh, a snail. There's a snail on the wood. Edwin, you're interrupting my outro. Look at him. This is what I mean when I say he doesn't like the snails. Look at him. Ooh, he hates them. With everything that he is. Never had a Betta that does this. He cracks me up. Anyway, friend, I will let you get back to your lovely week or weekend, depending on when you're watching this. Thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you have a lovely day. God bless, and I will see you soon.